In the last two videos, we had been discussing about the advent of the Europeans on India. The Portuguese were the first to arrive here. We remember the name of Vasco da Gama, the great voyager, adventurer, followed by the Dutch, then the British, and the last were the French. I put their names in order. Vasco da Gama discovered the sea route to India. He arrived at Calicut. It's in the present Kerala. He was followed by other French generals. For about 100 years, the Portuguese, they maintained their hold on India. It's looking as if the entire subcontinent would go into their hands. It did not happen. The Dutch from the Holland or Netherlands, they arrived here. Next to that, you had the British. I told you, on the 31st of December 1600, the British landed here. The British were followed by the French. All these four nations, they started vying with each other, fighting with each other, clashing with each other's forces, planning, working out as to how they can have a good hold over this subcontinent. India was a rich country. They had enough room for spreading their activities here, especially trade to begin with, later colonizing. But the Portuguese and the Dutch, they could not withstand the onslaught of the British and the French. The Dutch left India. They tried to get settled in Indonesia and Malaysia. The Portuguese withdrew themselves and kept themselves well satisfied with Goa, Diu, Daman and a few other places. But the fight, the competition continued between the English and the French, the British and the French. It was not an ordinary fight. The French were trying to establish their supremacy over India. In the meanwhile, their foes in Europe, the British, they were not ready to give up the fight. They too had decided, India will not go to the French. We will be supreme here. We will maintain our supremacy. So the fight went on. Not only the two fought with each other, they tried to utilize the situation in India at that time. The kings and the nawabs, they were fighting with each other. Each one was trying to maintain his supremacy in the local area. So these two got added up to each other. The British interfered in the local Indian politics in order to see that they are in a position to get the benefit. Hence, the three great Carnatic wars. So today we will concentrate on the three Carnatic wars. When we say Carnatic, the opening letter can be K or C. We used to use C earlier. The present Karnataka is here. But the Carnatic then was on the eastern coast of India. As the kings or the Nawabs set their boundaries, the kingdoms would shift. So the Carnatic was here. The present boundary lines, don't get confused with them. See, right from Madras till Cape Comorin, the eastern coast of India was known as Carnatic. I use the letter C there. So when you write notes regarding the Carnatic wars, better you use C because letter C was prevailing then. Do not use K or don't get confused. Okay, let us see the background first. I said the Portuguese and the Dutch, they were withdrawing from India. British and the French were in this way. They were the two foes who wanted to do away with the other. The French and the British were trying to establish their supremacy over Bharat. So conflicts arose here locally, I told you, between Hyderabad, Nizam's territory. Hyderabad was Nizam's territory. And Karnataka is here. These two were the two arch enemies of each other. Arch enemies. Both of them wanted to see that the other one is vanquished and is thrown out of power. So we arrived at the first Carnatic war. Let's discuss that. Before that, let us know what the background is. Asaf Zar, he had established a kingdom in Hyderabad in 1724. The Nizam of Hyderabad was Asaf Zar, 1724. His feudatory in the sense, one who was a vassal under Asaf Zar. A king or emperor used to have a number of feudatories under him. They used to look after the local areas and command, respect there and rule. They were feudatories, vassals. Dostali was a feudatory of Asaf Zar. Dost Ali was governing Karnataka. He was the arch enemy of Asaf Zar. In the meanwhile, the Marathas were getting stronger and stronger on the western coast, and the interior parts too, they were trying to stretch. They got Dostali killed. Marathas, in order to build up their control over the south, they saw that Dostali is removed from the scene. He was a strong ruler. Dostali was killed. And they looted Karnataka. The Marathas, all these boundaries are not very clear boundaries then. It all depended how they control the areas. The present situation you can't put into that context and think. So the Marathas entered Karnataka. Dostali was finished and Karnataka was looted by the Marathas. What happened next? They imprisoned his son-in-law. Dostali, Chanda Sahib, and he was taken and put in Satara jail. Satara jail. See the fluid situation in the south. I am not talking about the British and the French. They are all watching what is happening here. The rivalry, the fight among the Nawabs there. Asaf Shah named Anwaruddin as the Nawab of Karnataka. In the meanwhile, Asaf Shah, as the Marathas retreated after looting Karnataka, they did not know how to hold power even. They just left back with all the loot. Now Asaf Shah was looking after Hyderabad. He appointed Anwaruddin as the Nawab of Karnataka. So Anwaruddin is the Nawab now. And the British were trying to develop good links with Anwaruddin. Yes, all these cannot happen overnight. It takes time. Now, the situation got very well set for the British to intervene. The British were always cunning. They used to wait for the right opportunity to intervene and establish their supremacy. Anwaruddin has taken over Karnataka, a new Nawab. The British felt that this is the right time we intervene now. The British had hold on Madras, Madras was the headquarters of the Madras presidency. They had built a fort there. They had their army there. They are waiting for an opportunity to spread over. So, the French too smelled the rat here. The French were also waiting for an opportunity. The French, they requested Bardonnais, who was the Governor General of Mauritius. Where is Mauritius? Mauritius is an island in the Indian Ocean. It's very close to Madagascar. If I have to draw it here and show you. Here you have Madagascar, this is Africa. And here you have Saudi Arabia. Then you have the Persian Gulf. And here you have India. Okay. You have Mauritius here. A few islands here. Very close to Madagascar in the Indian Ocean. Mauritius was under the control of the French. Bardonnais, he was the Governor General. Bardonnais, on the request of Dupleix, who was the Governor General in India, then French Governor General, a very diplomatic, superb gentleman who was very good in administration. So, on the request of Dupleix, Bardonnais came and attacked Madras, which had gone into the control of the British. It was with the British. Oh, he captured Madras. Madras went into the hands of the French now. The British had to step back. They were disturbed. Robert Clive got absolutely disturbed. They never thought French would take over Madras one day. So the British, they requested the help of Anwaruddin. British wanted more forces now to face the French. So the British requested Anwaruddin to defeat the French, to kick them out of Madras. In the meanwhile, the French Bardonnais, see what a game it is. Bardonnais were very clever. They did not want to stick on to Madras. They discussions with the British, with the Dupleix, took money from the French, and Bordenais just got back to Mauritius. He made money. He took lot of wealth from the British, gave away Madras back to them, and he left for Mauritius. Now it was a total confusion for Dupleix. What Dupleix planned was different. Now Bordenais doesn't listen to Dupleix. He plays his own game, collected money from the British and gave back Madras, and he left, and he returned to Mauritius. He returned Madras to the British, went back to Mauritius. This enraged Dupleix. Why did Dupleix call Bordenais? And what is it that happened later? It was all a big confusion for Dupleix. And Dupleix, he tried to take Madras back from the British. He attacks. He takes the help of even some of the local kings here, there. But ultimately, Dupleix fails in taking back Madras. And Treaty of Aix-les-Chapelle, that ended the Carnatic War. First Carnatic War. That was the first Carnatic War. It was fought over Madras.